Greetings, YouTube. I have a piece today from mid-June. The case for reparations. Over 60 million deaths from man-made famines. A 20% drop in the life expectancy in just 50 years. Centuries of slavery, a legacy of brutal deprivation and cruel dispossession, still materially felt by billions to this day. But despite it all, 80% of Britons do not regret colonialism and 44% are actively proud of it. How is that possible? And what is there to be proud of? And then this is important here. On the vastness of what is owed. So go ahead. I challenge you. Chalk up the billions of hours that enslaved Africans worked on British plantations. Pay it a living wage. Tally up compensation for the 60 million souls sacrificed to famine for the sake of British surplus. Boost it all by 200 years of compound interest and add that to the trillions lost during structural adjustments and the trillions more in stolen cash that flows through Guildhall. Try it. The numbers begin to swell. They rise like a chorus of voices from the forgotten corners of our past. They march like an army of ghosts who demand a reckoning. And then it strikes you. And it strikes you that there is not enough money in all of Britain to compensate for those injustices. And you realize that if Britain paid reparations, real, honest, courageous reparations, there would be nothing left. Britain would not exist. And that is exactly what people find so terrifying about the question of reparations. It is not that they fear the actual prospect of paying it. It is that even just thinking about what is owed reveals the hard truth that what is owed is everything. Now, this is about the British Empire, but America is no different, nor is any of the other colonial nations. America is in the same place. Our entire nation is built upon a policy of slavery and genocide, of oppression. If you're a white middle-class person in America, you are that because you are standing on a mountain of corpses of black people, of brown people, of Asian people, of indigenous people, the Native Americans. You are where you are because of white supremacy, because your ancestors benefited from those policies of white supremacy. That your ancestors got the jobs and the education and the loans and the business licenses that they wanted to have because other people didn't. That for centuries we stole the labor and the money away from people and ground them into dust to build the foundations of this nation. America is in no better position than Britain. Britain's empire may have encompassed more territory, but it is no less vile and morally bankrupt than ours. We're in the same boat. We are the stepchild of the British, after all. We charged ahead out on our own, but we took all of the worst policies with us. We enslaved, we oppressed, we stole, we suppressed, we robbed entire peoples for generations of everything they had. And we could never pay that back, nor can the British. But the British won't face the reality of that. 80% of the people, 44% of the people are proud of it. Proud of what their nation did to the world. You'd probably find lots of people in America that would be gladly to say that they support the policies that got us where we are today. Now you know that there are people in America right now that think that slaves had a good deal. They got a place to live. They got room and board. Not fathoming what it is to be someone's possession. And then even after they gained their political freedom, in theory, they couldn't really vote. They couldn't own the property. They couldn't benefit from the system. And thanks to the 13th Amendment, they pretty much were kept in slavery in prison systems. We will never pay back what we took from them. But at least we should be able to face what we did and say that we're sorry and mean it. At least we should be able to face it and discuss it instead of trying to ignore it. In America, people are upset because Black Lives Matter protests happen in the streets because they see it as an attack against America. Because white nationalism is such a part of our nation that when you attack white nationalism, they see it as attacking America itself. They don't separate the two in their minds. And I can understand why. Because they're inseparable. But until we face our white nationalistic past, we are not going to be able to take on white nationalism today. The British can't do it, and we can't do it. But we have to. We need to face what we did so we can have a better future. So the black people and the brown people of the world can maybe have a shot at the life we have taken for granted. I am where I am because of racism. Period. And I didn't try it, but I live in almost an entirely white neighborhood. I think there's one black person that lives on this block, and it's a child. I don't think there are any people of color that own buildings around me, own homes around me. Because they're pretty much, with the exception of this one, almost all single families. And that's a rarity around here for black people to own single family homes in New Hampshire. It shouldn't be, but it is. And I may not have chosen it, but it happened because it happens everywhere. It's endemic. But at least I'm facing it. At least I'm trying to not hide from my past. Hide from the policies that gave my father the breaks he got, and his father the breaks he got, and his father the breaks he got. All at the cost of someone else's opportunity. We have to face it. We have to face that army of ghosts.